made On Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode 56. Hunter Keister back with
K-Mac. Let's get it. Christmas edition. Let's go.
It is time for another week in sports as we are going to cover week 16. We had games on Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and it made for some good football this weekend.
And tomorrow.
Yeah, and tomorrow as well. We got NFL Week 16 covered. We're also going to touch on some of the lesser bowl games that have already happened throughout this first weekend of bowl season. So we'll touch on that, and we'll also touch on fantasy football.
Oh, yeah.
In this podcast. So let's get into it. Thursday night, we saw the Jaguars take on the Jets, and the Jaguars stomped the Jets 19-3. Kurt, what you think of this game?
Yeah, I believe Zach Wilson got pulled again in some capacity or form. Jets, another poor showing for them in what was a pivotal game that they needed to win to stay alive in the playoff. And Jags get a big win. Just score enough to win, not just a little bit of some rushing. And the Jags now are looking to win their division. Straight up. They have a very good chance to do it. So they get the win, and it was a lower scoring game on Thursday night in what seems to be a common thing.
Wilson was only 9 of 18 in this game for 92 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception.
Wow.
He was replaced by Chris Streveler? I never even heard of that guy. He had 10 for 15, 90 yards, and 9 rushes for 54 yards.
Wow. Yeah, not a good look for what was a former second overall pick right after Trevor Lawrence in that draft. He hasn't looked that good this year. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a question mark there.
Yeah, I don't think he's the guy for the Jets, and I think
maybe he just needs to go somewhere else.
I don't know. I don't know what Zach Wilson's problem is, but
I think them losing Breece Hall way early in the year was a big loss. He was tearing it up.
I mean, obviously that killed him, but just on
that defense is nasty.
Just on Wilson by himself, I don't know what his problem is and why he struggles so much. Because I thought he was actually going to be pretty decent.
Yeah. Coming out of BYU.
Right.
And really just has not looked good this year at all. And is a big reason why the Jets aren't winning some more of these games.
Yeah, because they do have a really stellar defense.
Their defense, Sauce Gardner and the other corner they got. And they still held the Jags at 19 points. That's still less than 20.
Yeah.
So, just not a poor showing. But let's head into the rest of the games that started Saturday on Christmas Eve. Falcons lost 9-17 in a very low-scoring affair for Baltimore. Just good defense, and Desmond Ridder didn't play too bad, but another win for Baltimore. Now they are in the playoffs. They clinched the playoff spot with 10 wins. For
sure. That's a good game for them. They only put up 17, but that defense, stifles the Falcons. I mean, it's not much. Falcons offense hasn't been the greatest this season, but
December's winning season, so just find a way to win.
Yeah.
Heading to the next one, Detroit at Carolina. Wow, this was a big letdown for Detroit.
Yeah, they had all this momentum build up. 7-7, they were making a run towards the playoffs, and it was just a Christmas letdown for Detroit. 37-23 loss.
They got ran all over.
Carolina, and they did just get ran all over.
I think when I was watching it through the NFL Red Zone, they mentioned that the Panthers had 245 rushing yards by the end of the first half.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's insane.
They really just ran all over Detroit. So
Foreman had 165. Chuba Hubbard had 125. Wow.
And then Darnold had at least like 20 yards.
20 yards. Yep, 20 yards and a touchdown.
I mean, that's 300 yards right there.
Right.
And then DJ Moore was playing really good too.
83 yards on 5 receptions and a touchdown.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
So, a big win for the Panthers to try to win that division, and a letdown from Detroit.
Yeah.
They needed to keep winning to potentially get in as that 7th seed.
Yeah, that will probably squander that for them.
So, heading next game, Buffalo defeats the Bears at Chicago. Josh Allen had some bad moments. 3 interceptions. But the Bills still just... That defense took care of Justin Fields and the Bears with relative ease. The Bears had a halftime lead, but then second half the Bears just got pretty much controlled.
Yeah, pretty much what I expected. Josh Allen did look worse than I ever thought that he would against the Bears.
League leader in interceptions.
Yeah, the Bears played him pretty well. I mean, they gave up 35 in the end, and the Bills definitely right their wrongs in the second half. But the Bears played Josh Allen pretty well, and
your offense just has to do better.
Yeah, I would say if Fields plays a little bit better, maybe they have more of a chance. But they fall 35-13 after a pretty strong second half from the Bills, and yeah, the Bears only muster 13 points. They only have 3 wins on the season.
Yeah, the Bears are a very good team.
It's been rough for Chicago this year.
Absolutely. Buffalo, big win for them to remain the 1st seed, if I'm not mistaken, for the playoffs right now. So
the Bills are the 1st seed right now for the playoffs.
Yeah, but they play Cincinnati next week, so that's going to determine a lot of things. But anyways, let's get on to this one. Saints with the win, 17-10 at Cleveland, and kicks Cleveland out of the playoffs.
That's crazy. I mean, it would have been a long shot for Cleveland to make it, but the Saints do pull out the win. I thought their defense played really well in the second half. Yeah. I won $5 off this game with my grandma. We bet $5 and I won. And Red Rifle, 8 for 15, only 92 yards passing, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Kamara, 20 rushes, 76 yards and a touchdown. Taysom Hill has 56 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Receiving the ball, Rashid Shaheed, 4 for 41, their best receiver. And Kamara gets 2 for 34, and that's literally it. Nothing done for the Saints on offense. They were just able to play really good defense on Cleveland. They only give up 10 points.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, 15 of 31, 135, no touchdowns, 1 interception in this game. Nick Chubb finally gets his carries. He gets 92 yards on 24 carries. Watson puts in 24 yards and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt doesn't see his workload, 7 rushes for 8 yards. Amari Cooper plays well, 6 of 72. David Bell has 1 catch for 18. Yeah, just both teams on offense.
Yeah, this was the coldest game in Cleveland Browns history.
And it definitely showed because nobody could do anything on offense.
Abysmal conditions. The Saints come in, took care of business. Dalton threw a pick the first half. In the second half, when I was seeing it, looked like Taysom Hill was in there actually playing a lot just because the run threat option at least.
Yeah.
And the Saints were able to come out with a win and stay playoff relevant because of the division they're in. So things are coming down to the wire. Next game, Seahawks at Chiefs. The Chiefs won that game. The Seahawks honestly did not really compete at all in this game.
Yeah, this
they
game
went for it
was
multiple times on 4th down and couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Gino had a couple of bad interceptions.
Yep.
Couldn't look at the run game going with Kenneth Walker and the Chiefs. It's nice to hold them down to 24, but your offense kind of just has to do more.
Yeah. Their defense played well enough to keep them in the game, but their offense does not, only mustering 10. As Kurt mentioned, Geno Smith a couple really bad interceptions. Kenneth Walker not really much help on the ground, and it's just a really easy coasting win for the Chiefs as they look to try to get that 1 seed again in the AFC.
They already clinched the playoff spot, that's for sure. But they're looking to get the 1st seed potentially. Heading into the next game, looks like, this was a good one. Giants with a last-second loss to the Minnesota Vikings via a 61-yard field goal from the Vikings kicker, Greg Joseph. Wow, what a game this was.
Yeah,
very
this was
close
an
and
incredible
competitive.
game.
Yeah.
I was watching Red Zone most of Saturday, and so I saw a lot of this game, and it was incredible. Greg Joseph wins it off a 61-yard boot for Minnesota, but the Giants play well. Minnesota, Justin Jefferson breaks the record, break Randy Moss's record for receiving yards in the season.
And there's a good chance he could maybe break Calvin Johnson's record for yards in a season this year.
Yeah.
So he's killing it.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson. I'm glad I took him in one of my fantasy leagues because he has been killing it.
Absolutely. Minnesota with their, I think, 10th or 11th one-score win this year I've seen. So they get a big win to win that division and compete for that first seed. But they're probably not going to get it. Giants with the loss. Looks like they'd still be in the playoffs. But they're still fighting to get in there and get their shot at the Lombardi.
Yeah, trying to have 3 NFC East teams make the playoffs. That'd be insane.
Well, we're looking at potential of 4. Depending on how Washington finishes out.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Because Dallas and Philly are going in for sure. Philly already clinched a spot. Dallas would definitely get in. And the Giants and Washington would be in if it started today.
Wow.
Yeah. Heading to the next game. Bengals went on the road to New England and won 22-18.
They played a really bad second half,
Yeah.
Cincinnati did. I watched most of this game, and Joe Burrow and that Cincinnati offense started off red hot, but in the second half definitely cooled off and almost allowed the Patriots to sneak around and come away with a win.
Yeah, they played great the first half. Already they came down the field with their first drive and scored. Burrow's looking good. And they scored again. I mean, you're talking they scored on their first 3 drives. So they started out the first half pretty well. Second half, a lot of bad turnovers. Interception, I believe, was a pick 6. And just kind of beat themselves a little bit in the second half. But were able to hold on to a last-minute fumble recovery when Ramondre Stevenson, I can never say his name, Stevenson fumbled when they were at the 10-yard line with a minute to go. And he coughs the ball up, and the Patriots, they came back and they had a chance, but they blew it.
Yeah.
Just like they blew the Raiders game.
Right.
So.
Belichick's got to be kicking himself at this point.
Absolutely.
Couple missed field goal opportunities. Special teams hasn't been the best.
Yeah, it was a big game for Cincinnati to win. And the Patriots needed this win to stay in the hunt. They're still in it, but yeah, Bengals got a big game next week. Heading into the next game, Houston goes to Tennessee and pulls out a win versus Malik Willis in a very low-scoring affair.
Yeah, Houston has done a phenomenal job of taking this season. They've had a lot of one-score losses, a lot of really close, down-to-the-wire games, and some really exciting games for their fans, but they've still managed to lose them for the most part. So they're doing their job in tanking, but making it enjoyable for the fans of Houston. But they do get a win, a huge win over Malik Willis and Derrick Henry, and they really put Derrick Henry in check, and they held the Titans to 14 points, and they were able to get a win, 19-14.
An upset win, I would say, but when I did picks last week, I actually picked Houston to win that game.
Oh, wow.
Just because what I seen, they almost beat Dallas, and
they played the Chiefs real tough, too, right?
They played the Chiefs in the overtime.
Yeah.
So it's like they hang around.
Yep.
They hang around.
Like I said, they're doing a great job of tanking and hanging around and making it interesting for their fans.
Absolutely. Heading into the 4 o'clock games on Saturday, starting off with Washington at San Fran. Another big win for the 49ers, 37-20. Wow. 37 points. I didn't really see a whole lot of this game.
Nope.
Because I was watching the Philadelphia-Dallas game.
Yep.
But it kind of just seems like the Niners offense just was a little too much to handle.
Right. That didn't get the points put up by the Commanders to give them a chance to win. And then give it up 37, that high-powered San Fran offense, but you can't really win when you're giving up 37.
Why did Wentz play in this game? Wentz was in there at one point.
Oh, they were playing Wentz. They played Heineke. He was 13-18. He had to have gotten.
Maybe he got hurt.
He had to have gotten hurt because they wouldn't have pulled him if he was playing 13-18, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, Carson Wentz held his own. 12-16, 123.
Maybe it was garbage time though.
It could have been, but he held his own in garbage time at least.
Because it was 7-7 at half, and then the Niners just outscored them.
Yeah, 14 in the third, 16 in the fourth.
Yeah.
Compared to 7 and 6. So who knows what happened there, but Brock Purdy's been playing pretty well, and there's already talks about the possibility of Purdy actually being the starter and them moving away from Trey Lance, which would be absolutely insane
such a big plan
for Trey Lance.
Change of plans.
Yeah.
You traded up for the guy.
Yep.
Gave away part of your future for him. I don't know.
But you would be able to get a lot back for him, so there's that. But who knows what they do. But San Fran gets a huge win. 11-4, and they are having a really good season.
Yeah, they already clinched the playoff spot. They're just looking to keep winning and keep rolling. Looks like they'll be a pretty solid team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So big win for them. Washington with the loss, they obviously needed to win this to stay around in the hunt, and that 7 seed is it's gonna be close.
Yeah.
Because all those teams have like 7 wins. So heading to the other game. The game that most people were watching, Philadelphia loses 34-40 at Dallas.
What an incredible game this was.
Came down to the last drive by Gardner Minshew, and they got a turnover on downs. Couldn't get it on 4th down. A very high-scoring affair from both these teams.
This was an incredible game. 13-2 Philly, 11-4 Dallas, 40-34. This game, everybody thought it was going to be, you don't know how it's going to be with Minshew playing, but Minshew comes in and he plays all right. 24-40, 355, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders puts in 65 yards. Devontae Smith has a career day. Leads me to a win in one of my leagues. 8 for 113 on 12 targets.
Yeah, he was killing it.
2 touchdowns. And A.J. Brown still gets over 100 yards, which is insane.
That's great production.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really just, to me, Dallas opens up with a pick 6 on the 2nd drive. So Philly started off pretty well. Dallas was just able to really just work Philly's defense for the most part.
Right.
Regardless of what Minshew does, he does his job, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But what killed the Eagles was they had 4 turnovers that game, and Miles Sanders' fumble was at a very bad time.
Yeah, that was costly.
Very bad time.
Yep.
So Dallas was able to capitalize, and that CeeDee Lamb had some really good plays too. Though
he played really, really well too. Because I think he had a 30-point game as well as Smith.
Yeah, they 120 yards, 10 catches, 2 touchdowns for CeeDee Lamb. And that's what you need in moments like that. So a big win for Dallas because they just needed this. They just lost to the Jags last week.
Yep, to try to stay alive and get that top wild card spot. They needed to keep winning, and they get a huge win over Philly.
Yep, big win for them. Philadelphia, they're already secured a playoff spot, so they're cool. They're not really stressing.
Right.
They just want to get their players healthy and get to the playoffs, to be honest.
Yep.
So that brings us to the Saturday night game. Raiders and Steelers. This was a very low-scoring game. Little to no offense.
Yes.
Raiders come out with a game-opening touchdown drive, and they don't score a touchdown the rest of the game. They got a field goal. We were down. want to say, we were down 10-3 at half. Offense just couldn't finish drives, and a couple missed field goals didn't help. And Derek Carr throws 3 second-half interceptions.
Oh.
And the third one he threw was a game-losing interception.
Yep. With a chance to go down and win it.
Yep.
Derek Carr.
They had about a minute left. Actually, 45 seconds left.
Yep.
Because we were down 10-6 and made a last couple-minute drive to actually throw George Pickens the ball for once for a touchdown.
Right.
Pittsburgh defense did what they needed to. They shut down Jacobs in the run game. I guess he was the league leader in rushing yards. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's been really good.
He's been doing really good.
Devontae Adams gets actually clamped too. 9 targets, 2 catches, 15 yards.
Yeah, I'll attribute that to a little bit of both.
Yeah,
Derek Carr didn't throw the best, to be honest with you,
and
our defense. He had his chances, but Derek Carr honestly just couldn't get it to him.
Makes sense.
So Pittsburgh was able to get the win and stay in the hunt. Even as low as the odds are, they're still going to try to win for Tomlin's winning season record. So
right,
they get the win, and the Raiders with the loss really puts them in a bind, and they probably will not make the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, they would have needed a miracle to make it, and to be honest, who really wants to make it just to go get waxed?
Yeah, I agree. So that takes us to today's games. Starting off at 1 o'clock, Green Bay gets the win at Miami, 26-20.
Tua choked that game away. 3 interceptions, back-to-back drives, and it proves to be the difference in a 26-20 game. The Miami defense does all it can to help out their quarterback with the timely interceptions, but it just wasn't enough. Rodgers does just enough to get it done against Miami. 26-20, they get the win. They stay alive. The Dolphins' playoff chances get a whole lot dimmer with the loss. And Tua, I mean, you gotta show to that loss. Honestly, it's a close game, and you just came up small when it mattered most at home.
At home, a big game you needed to win. You're currently they're the 7th seed right now, and so they need to win one of their next 2 games, I believe, to get a playoff spot.
Right.
They've lost 4 straight. This was a very winnable game. You know, even as bad as Tua was playing, they still had a chance down 26-20.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you ask for?
Right.
So, unfortunately, it just comes up small.
Yeah.
And the Packers were able to pull out a much needed win for them to remain in the playoffs. The playoff hunt, my bad.
Right.
So, it was a pretty good opening game.
Yeah.
Unlike this second game.
Oh, man.
The 4:30 matchup was Denver heading to Los Angeles for a clash with the Rams.
I caught a great nap during this game.
Yeah, this was a snoozer. I don't think a lot of people were really too amped about this game. I know I wasn't.
Nope.
The Rams absolutely destroyed them, 51-14.
Phew.
And honestly, from what I was seeing, Baker was throwing dots.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
He looked good in his
I like what I saw out of him today. I know you get a big lead and you still you can look better behind a nice lead,
Yeah.
but
I get it, but the Broncos defense is legit, and Baker made some plays. I'll give him that. He's made some plays for the Rams this year for sure.
I'll take 24 of 28 for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
230.
Yeah. And
That's pretty efficient.
Against the Broncos' tough defense, hell yeah. I'll take that. He's definitely he's giving himself a case for next year to try to land another starting job if he's not going to be the guy for the Rams. He's making a case around the league. Like New Orleans, I wouldn't be mad.
Possibly, yeah. Cam Akers had a big day, 3 touchdowns.
Cam Akers played incredible.
Yeah, his best game of the season, obviously.
Yep.
And yeah, what can you say? Russell Wilson, another poor showing for him.
Man. Russell, Broncos country, baby. Come on, man. You robbed him. You robbed him.
I mean, after a pretty decent game last week against the Chiefs, a game in which
he got benched. He got benched in this game.
And
or hurt. Either or.
Yikes. I mean, a battle of 4-11 and 5-10, and Russell, you can't even have a decent game.
Right. One for 3, touchdown, interception. 15 or 27, 214. The backup either comes in and replaces him, or he gets hurt in this game.
I cannot believe the downfall of Russell Wilson.
Right.
He used to be so.
Like I was hyped for this Broncos defense with a quarterback like Russell Wilson. I was hyped. I thought Denver could definitely compete for a wild card spot in the AFC, and instead they've been a bottom feeder. And he's been one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the league, without question.
It's crazy to think that if the Broncos just scored like 20 points a game, they would win so many games because their defense only allows 18 points a game, and their offense only averages 15 a game. That is absolutely atrocious.
Right.
Wow. So, yikes. I mean, this game didn't really mean much, but man, to come out like that, man, have some pride.
Right.
Have some pride.
Just to get absolutely waxed like that.
You're on Christmas and
right. Like, think about your fans. Just think about your fans.
Oh man.
Think about the fans that care way too much. Like me and Kurt sitting here right now with Michigan, and just think about your fans.
The diehards.
They had to go through their Christmas. Now when you guys got whooped 51-14.
They turned off the TV.
Right. Think of what you guys did to your fans for the rest of their Christmas. Like, you couldn't even make it competitive. Gave them some hope. Gave them something to be happy about.
Something.
No, you just go out and get absolutely wrecked on Christmas Day.
I mean, because honestly, outside of this game and a few others, all the other games were honestly very competitive and close.
Yeah.
But this game was just a complete outlier.
Yep. Even this game is 3-3 Broncos, 3-3 Buccaneers, Cardinals.
I mean, I'd like to see a little more scoring, but yeah, at least it's close. Looks like they're getting ready for a field goal. The Bucs are.
Yep. Closing out, we're going to just briefly touch on this Chargers and Colts game. Colts are without Jonathan Taylor. Matt Ryan just put his name in the NFL record book once again for a negative reason.
Lone lead.
Oh man, Matt Ryan, you are just unbelievable.
Now we have 28. Not only do we have 28-3, now we have 33-0.
Yes. Unbelievable. Matt Ryan, you just please retire at this point, because you are just tarnishing your name.
Your name.
And I'm just gonna come out and get this game over with a quick prediction. Chargers by 21 plus. I'm calling for like a 35-13 game.
They announced a couple of days ago that Nick Foles is going to be starting for the Colts.
Oh! So okay, that's a great way to end the season for Matt Ryan. That game, that's a fitting way to end the season. I'll give him that.
So we're looking at Nick Foles versus the Chargers.
Nick Foles, okay.
Chargers, we were watching them play last week against Tennessee. They didn't look so good.
Right.
But they came out with a last minute touchdown or field goal. I don't remember, but they barely beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
So could they choke?
Nick Foles gives the Colts a decent chance, but not having Jonathan Taylor, I think it's just too much.
Now Jonathan Taylor is a big loss.
Yeah.
The Colts defense isn't too bad, but the Colts stayed right in there to the end against Minnesota, but I'm going to go with the Chargers here, as I just feel like they're going to get this win because they're playing for the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Chargers are.
Yep. So,
give me the Los Angeles Chargers to win. You know what? I like, give me 24-13. Okay. 24-14.
Okay.
I think Nick Foles and I think the Colts can put up at least 14 points. So that'll do it for the Monday night, the Week 16 games. as we head into Week 17 and the last weekend of the year.
Yeah, let's transition into some NFL fantasy football action, as we are going to just quickly, I'll rip the bandit off for Kurt. If we had mentioned it before, in our league, it came down to us, me and Kurt, semi-final matchup in the playoffs, 8-team league. It was him and I to go for the finals, and my team just goes absolutely insane. I'll just quickly, I'll go over the scores and then I'll tell you what the overall score is. So I had Joe Burrow. He got me 23.50. This is where Kurt went wrong, and I'll tell you. I mean, he didn't really have a whole lot of good options, but I'm just going to have to take another dig at Ohio State here, and I told him this last night. I said, you can't play an Ohio State quarterback in a meaningful game, in a meaningful week, in fantasy football playoff action, and expect good things to happen. And Justin Fields is one of the main reasons that the game that it went. And he only puts up 11 points. He puts in 119 passing yards, a passing touchdown, and 11 rushing yards. 11.86. So that's a big gap right there. I then had Saquon Barkley, who puts in 27.30. He's got Austin Eckler to play tomorrow night, so that's rough. That scares me. I'm an Austin Eckler owner in my other fantasy league, so I know what kind of damage Austin Eckler can do. But Saquon Barkley puts in 27, so I'm comfortable knowing that at least, hopefully, Eckler only matches that, hopefully. I have Mike Evans. Mike Evans is playing right now versus the Cardinals. Kurt has Chris Godwin playing right now. I had Pat Freiermuth give me 13 points. He had Dallas Goedert get him 9. I had Joe Mixon give me 17. Christian McCaffrey gets him 13. Metcalf gets me 15. Aaron Jones got you, 5?
Yep.
Something like that. Justin Jefferson gets me 31. T. Higgins gets him 26. Tyler Bass gets me 4. Myers gets him 4. Mosley gets me 10. Love gets him 5. Kendrick gets me 9. He's got a defensive player for the Colts, the linebacker that plays tomorrow. I had Edwards for Philly get me 11. And Snead for KC got him 6. Which brings the final score, as of right now, up to 163.60 for me, compared to 77.66 for Kurt. Kurt, what is your reaction to that?
See, now when you put it that way, like player versus player, it doesn't sound as bad.
Right.
Like when you put it that way, it doesn't really sound as bad, but the score just does not reflect that.
Almost 100-point difference. Kurt, how do you feel? What is your emotions hearing that? You know, another coming up short in
another choke.
Another year coming up short in fantasy for you. Kurt, in recent memory, has had a lot of semifinal exits since his last fantasy football win, which was when Kurt.
2013, 9 years with so many close times of championships, but just coming up short.
Ooh.
Coming up short.
Ouch.
Honestly, I was definitely big mad. I was like, this is not happening right now. No, Jefferson and Saquon they killed it. They just killed it.
Yeah.
I knew Fields was going to be limited. I wasn't expecting a whole lot. Like I wasn't expecting 30 or 25, but I was like, I bet I'll probably get like 20, and I'd be cool with 20.
Yep.
I knew he was going to be limited, but like you said, I didn't really want to go scavenge into the other quarterbacks and then get burnt for not starting him. So I feel like that really didn't help, but it also sucked that Jalen Hurts got hurt last week.
Yeah.
And now, honestly, with him getting hurt, he's probably not going to win MVP. So,
right.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he did hurt it.
Because he
really
was the number one quarterback in fantasy in our league by like 30 points.
Wow.
He was killing it. No, he was killing it. Like the past month, he got me 30 points a game. So, yeah, but you know what? We don't use injuries as excuses. Hunter just killed me. Hunter just destroyed me.
My team, it's so just
he's to go to the championship round.
Yeah, it happens. My team put up a crazy round, and we will now talk about the other semifinal matchup, which
Brandon
is
might do it.
Derek, who has 2 losses on the season, 13-2, versus Brandon. It's just like another matchup. Kurt had a high ranking. I came through.
I had 12 wins, 3 losses, and I'm the one that gets my ass kicked in the playoffs. Like, you just never know.
Now,
none of it matters.
Derek's got 2 losses coming into this, and it's 111-104. Derek's in the lead. Brandon's got 104. This is what's left. All right. Derek's got DeAndre Hopkins.
Who's got 0 right now.
DeAndre Hopkins got 0 right now through a whole quarter. Almost a whole half.
Wow. Looks like, if this is correct, there's like close to 6 minutes left in this game. So we're heading to halftime, close to it, and D-Hop is... Are they even targeting him? Oh, there's Mike Evans. Was that a pick? He threw interception.
No!
He missed on that because he had Mike Evans in that corner route.
Dang it.
If he throws a good ball, he scores there.
I need it, Brady. Dang it.
No, you don't need it. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
I need it.
I'm getting pummeled to the ground by a stampede. And you want to add more horses to the stampede? Come on. So he's got 3 targets right now.
I need it.
Hopkins does. But Brandon still has Keenan Allen tomorrow night and a defensive player. So he needs 7 points.
Yeah.
If Hopkins don't do anything.
And Derek only player left is Hopkins, so he needs a huge second half or it's gonna be me versus Brandon in the championship.
It's crazy.
And then Kurt and Derek will battle it out for who takes home money. Who out of the first 2, the regular season champions, who's it gonna be? It's gonna be crazy.
We'll see you next week.
It's gonna come down to tomorrow for them. All right, Kurt. Well, what do you got in your other league?
Okay. So minor league, I made it to the playoffs. It's another 8-man league. But I did a 10-man. I finished in last in that one. Rip. But this one, this one, I was the second-ranked team again, and we lost in the first round, 159-114.
Ouch! So another one of those matchups that you're just like you really can't do much.
I mean, I could have if I made moves, but
did you put in the wrong players?
No. Even if I put in my best player on the bench, I would have lost still. And this league, the scoring's a little bit different. Kirk Cousins got him 36, and T.J. Hawkinson got him 32.
Okay.
And Brett Maher got him 20.
Yeah, dude.
I can't fight that.
Right.
I can't fight that. Now when Justin Fields has got 14.
Right.
I had Jefferson, but then I had Chubb.
Right.
I had Kittle who got 26, but then he had Hawkinson that got him 32. We lose in the playoffs, and now we play for third. So we're playing for top 3 in both leagues. And I don't consider it a success, but I'm glad at least I didn't get last. Congrats, man. That's back-to-back years in the playoffs, and no.
Nothing to show for it.
Nothing to show for it. Just collapses.
Yeah.
I was in a hot streak. I won 4 games in a row in this one, and then 4 games in their league in a row, and then for nothing.
Oh.
So.
Ouch.
That's how you win some, you lose some.
That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
But if this all means that we get something real big soon, then I'll take it. If you get what I mean.
Come on.
If we're talking natties, I'll take all these L's for that.
One more week. Well, in my fantasy league, in my 12-man work league that I did, we actually had our commissioners, boneheads, mess up the playoff schedule. So we actually had the playoffs happen last week and this week. So I actually end up losing my to-go match last week in a kind of a fashion that Kurt said. I put up 152 points, and I lose 152 to 166.
Man.
There's just, Ramondre Stevenson puts up 24, so if I put him in, I make it interesting instead of like Eckler or Pollard, but it's just, it's one of those weeks where we both put up crazy amounts and I just get bested. So I go for third this week, and I think I can confidently say I'm up 153 to 134. His final player is playing right now. Chris Godwin has 7 points through one half. And I have Eckler still to play. And I'm up almost 20 points. So I will get third in this league. Obviously, in the league with me and Kurt, I'm going to the championship to try to win the whole thing. So let's get it.
And hopefully everyone stays injury-free, but unfortunately that's not the case.
Right.
Especially this late into the season.
Right.
A lot of key people are going down.
Yeah. To close out this podcast now, we are going to transition over into some of these bowl games from just what's happened so far. Starting with Friday, December 16th, Troy, 24 ranked, took on UTSA, 25 ranked, 11-3 UTSA, 12-2 Troy. They played in the Duluth Trading Cure Bowl, and they played a really tight defensive game, and Troy comes out with an 18-12 win. Harris for UTSA puts in 23 of 42, 194 and a touchdown. Their running back for UTSA, Kavarian Barnes, 22 for 138. UTSA receiving 5 for 62, Oscar Cardenas. Chris Carpenter, 8 for 56. Looking at Troy, Gunnar Watson, 13 for 23, 113, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Kamari Vidal running the ball, 21 rushes, 72 yards and a touchdown. Rajay Johnson, their best receiver, 2 receptions for 41 yards, and Tez Johnson, 4 for 40. So really just nothing going for either offense, and it's a 18-12 close win for Troy in the bowl game to kick things off. UAB wins 24-20 over Miami of Ohio in the hometown Leonard Bahamas Bowl. Looking at the box score for that one, Dylan Hopkins, 16 for 24, 204, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, not bad. Jermaine Brown, 24 for 116 and 2 scores. Trey Shropshire, 6 for 183. Looking at Miami of Ohio, Avion Smith, 15 for 27, 162, 2 touchdowns. Avion Smith on the ground also had 22 rushes for 50 yards, as he pretty much did it all for their offense. Their best receiver only had two receptions for 43 yards and a touchdown, and 4 for 39. So, just good defense for UAB, and they get a close win. Florida gets whooped 30-3 by Oregon State. Louisville, 24-7 big win over Cincinnati. Oregon State wins the Las Vegas Bowl. Louisville wins the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Fresno State whoops on Washington State. Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. Wow. Jimmy Kimmel has his own bowl? That's crazy. That's dope. Southern Miss in a high-scoring 38-24 win over Rice. BYU beats out SMU 24-23. What a game. Boise State beats North Texas 35-32. Marshall beats UConn 28-14. Eastern Michigan beats San Jose State 41-27. Toledo beats Liberty 21-19. That's awesome for Toledo to get a bowl win.
Yeah.
Let's go Toledo.
MAC championship.
Yeah. They won the MAC and they won a bowl game. That's dope. Western Kentucky whoops on South Alabama 44-23 in the New Orleans Bowl. Air Force beats Baylor. Air Force beats Baylor 30-15. Baylor only has 6 wins on the season. Air Force goes 10-3. They win the Lockhart Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Houston beats Louisiana 23-16 in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Wake Forest beats Missouri 27-17. Union Home Mortgage Bowl. Middle Tennessee beats San Diego State 25-23 in the Easy Point Hawaii Bowl. And that is it for what is taking place thus far in bowl season. We got the big games obviously coming up. New Year's 6 college football playoff in the next coming week, which we are obviously super excited for.
Psyched.
But that is for another day. But Kurt, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
You know what? I think we covered everything pretty well.
Yeah, I think we got a nice, decent coverage of a couple different, football weeks and some bowl and some fantasy football. So, as we are going to finish out our Christmas night, we hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas. And we are going to finish out this Tampa Bay Cardinals game, and I'm going to...
We'll see some touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a better second half. Hopefully Mike Evans gets some touchdowns so we can beat Kurt some more. And
you quit that.
Hopefully Chris Godwin doesn't do me in too bad so I can make sure I get third place in this early. But we hope you guys had a good Christmas and
good
a happy holidays for whatever you celebrate, and a great weekend nonetheless. And we will see you next week. Hope you guys enjoyed On Ridgeway Sports Podcast episode 56. It's in the books. Peace.
Adios.